Hey, Dr. Bob Flower, and the Monday, April 23rd Master Pattern Report. Well, we've suddenly been called back to New York with some very urgent business and some findings that I'm rather disturbed about. I'm going to pass on to you. This is going to be some interesting information coming right at you. First, let me just quickly go through some calls here. The S&P today and silver. We see big moves, probably down. The S&P on the 25th and silver on the 27th. The 25th looks like it's going to be a very prominent day uh, in, um, in the stock market, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. In more ways than one is that going to be it may well be prominent. Um, okay, so we're still struggling. You know, the market is getting weaker. Um, it looked like it was going to make another run there. It still might, but it's getting weaker as each week passes. Gold and silver are not going anywhere, and I warn you again about silver. Watch yourself with silver. Okay. Um, but the big news this week is a couple of things I want to run by you. First off, um, it may be of interest to some of you that there's backroom talk, and that's what we'll label this section, backroom talk, that Mitt Romney may be going to appoint Ron Paul as Secretary of the Treasury. Ron Paul as Secretary of the Treasury. That this may actually happen, folks. Um, just a backroom rumor. All right. Okay. The other thing is this: um, the administration double crossed Israel big time. First, they practically announced the time span in which Israel was going to hit Iran. Then they announced the route, uh, the airspace being granted over um, Uzbekistan. And now what they've done is they've acquiesced to the Iranians in some terms in the negotiations in order to get them to the bargaining table. And they did that within a time frame. Remember, it's going to be the first week in May, which is spanning the period of time in which Israel was going to attack Iran. Uh, as best I can tell, and I'm using information from uh, the master pattern and my own program of natural intelligence, and it still may happen, was this Wednesday, April 25th. Uh, this has greatly upset the Israelis, to say the least. This is a major um, international double cross, and we think that there's going to be some severe ramifications worldwide for this. It, the idea is that it was going to help the administration get reelected because it's going to defer any action until hopefully after the election. Um, watch the 25th in any event. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the 25th is coming up in our charts as a pretty big day. Okay. The other thing is that there was a book written by this 23-year-old investigator, a gal, and I'm sorry I don't have the name for you, but I will put it up on my website. And the name of the book is Fast and Furious, and it's about the gun deal. And what has happened here is that she has uncovered significant evidence that this was a ploy by the Department of Justice and perhaps even the Obama administration to severely limit the Second Amendment. That what they had proposed is to make mom and pop gun stores the culprits, the fall guys, in a plan to sell more guns to Mexican drug lords and gangs and whatnot, and make it look like these greedy little bastards are at work and subverting the Constitution, and that we need to have pass amendments weakening the Second Amendment. And this 23-year-old reporter, gal, she's not even a reporter, she's a researcher, has done a masterful job. Get this book. I'm going to put it up on the website. Get this book. This is, if nothing else, the intrigue, the scholasticism that this young girl uses, and the investigations that she has done, very thorough, very conclusive, and the findings that she has come up with are very, very convincing and telling as to what goes on in the back rooms of our governance, and especially when they have an agenda. And the Republicans are not exempt from this. I'm telling you. I mean, it just so happens that we have a Democrat in office now, but and this is bad. This is not good. This is a devised ploy to subvert the Constitution, to usurp the Constitution. Okay, so and I think we're going to be hearing a lot of this. I think this is going to be a major issue, and of course, like Watergate was back with Nixon. Although it occurred well before the election, people poo-pooed it. The press didn't go after it really, but then right after, of course, it brought down the White House and the eventual resignation of President Nixon. And this is something that may well occur if our current president survives this election. I think once again on our website, which is Janet www.masterpattern.net. Okay, so look at that, and we'll try and put up a book review on this. It's brand new, just came out. We'll have all the information for you there. All right. Okay, let's jump back to economics now. Using one of the principles of natural intelligence, which is polarity, and the inclusion of polarity in problem solving, behavior and whatnot, and thinking skills, and how polarity is a natural phenomenon of the way we think and the way we behave. What we've now done is create a charting system that we're going to show you over the next 2 weeks. I'm going to start by a very simple chart next week, and I've had a few pressing business issues that are going to take me upstate New York this week. And with a couple of municipalities, proposals that we're making for a different type of tax base. So I don't have the time right now to demonstrate that to you, but I promise you, if nothing else, you're going to find this incredible. You're going to find it very, very fascinating. Not simple to follow. In principle, it's very simple, but not simple to follow like any ingenious type of application. And not because it's mine, it's not. It's just something that I discovered, not created. But I think you'll be able to utilize it to good use, and we'll get some very definite, stronger action towards understanding the marketplace and how it works and where it's going to go at more specific times and more specific calls. Okay. We're looking. We're also looking for. While interest rates are very weak right now, we do believe long term. Long term. Hear me out there? You know, like December, after December, rates headed up. Right now they're down and they're headed lower, and they may go even lower. But when you see drops like that, that's what precedes a reverse call, all right? The contrary situations and circumstances. Okay, so we may well see interest rates trying to inch up here first, and please follow what I'm saying. First, we think that they're lowering, and then even though that's happening, there's a strong undercurrent to move them up, and eventually pop, after the first of the year. For those of you who don't believe my real estate acumen, I'm buying more real estate myself, even in Arizona. Can you imagine that? Where coincidentally they're bidding up prices on units. What does Uncle Bob know? 50 years in the business. Hey, listen. Watch out for the 25th. I'm very concerned about that date. And let's see what happens with our market here. Looking sloppy, looking weak, not looking good, and our international issues are getting worse and worse. You know, the Iranian conflict started 30 years ago. Is it 30? Yeah, 30 years ago. 32 years ago. With the captives, with the American embassy. We froze their assets in the United States, billions of dollars. We froze their assets, and we imposed sanctions on them 30 years ago. And look where we are with these bastards. They're still usurping our direction, our United Nations, not ours, the world direction. They're still antithetical in every respect of the word. So, talking to these people, well, we've been talking for 30 years and imposing more and more sanctions, and it still hasn't worked. Still hasn't worked. We're going to try again. Another week or two, 10 days. What do you think? How do you think things will go? You think they're going to give in, or we're going to give in? Which? Okay, look, have a great week. I'm going to get this information up for you on the internet, and let's see how it goes. Next Monday we're going to do some try and put up some very interesting polarized charting for you. Okay, have a good week.